Gretchen Ronka of Hennepin County Libraries brought us into this project. She works with the Great Transitions Project. And they decided that the bookmaking workshop that we have carried around town a little bit sounded like a good idea. We've done workshops at Red Balloon Bookstore and at the Institute of Art, and in our neighborhood, North Minneapolis. It's a great format, and it's something that we're trying on a lot of different aged participants, folks from different backgrounds, because the format of the books is so versatile. It allows the student to express themselves in a nutshell, to do what they dream up, both with their art and their writing. And they can take it seriously, they can take it lightly, they can focus in whatever way they want, and it can still work for them.
Well, it was exciting to work with the students at North Options. They became part of an overall program called Great Transitions, which is funded by the Alliance for Children and Families of Hennepin County. And library staff is using this in a variety of ways to encourage adolescents who might be not doing so well in school, and some of them may be in the juvenile correctional system, to express their feelings in a very positive way through poetry, through art, through bookmaking, and in ways that help them develop some self-esteem and also contribute to their literacy development.
Most of the students in this project were resistant to the idea. They admitted that they didn't want anything to do with it. And I think that, as my husband noted in his talk tonight, they are very hesitant to express what's really in their heart or their mind, and that's their resistance in a nutshell. But those dozen or so who did, I can tell, were really gratified by the experience. They landed with subject matter that was very important to them. One young man wrote about and dedicated his book to his son. Another girl wrote volumes, 8 full pages, about a best friend, someone that has been in her life for 8 years. Another young man illustrated the Greek alphabet in a remarkable way. And on and on and on. Some of them were very simple, others more complicated, but to some degree it definitely worked. And that's gratifying.
And it's my pleasure tonight to welcome our guest of honor, our writers, and to also thank those who are responsible for them being here, their parents, teachers, library staff, community members, and very wonderful volunteers who have worked with this program. I should probably apologize in advance for not being able to stay for most of this evening. I'm scheduled to be before the Hopkins City Council at 7:30 tonight. But I wanted very badly to be here tonight to just express on the part of the entire library system how much we want to honor our writers who have shared with us their talent and their creativity. You are wonderful resources in our community, and we are very proud of the work that you have done. Your stories and your poems have inspired all of those who have read them, and I thank you for sharing that creativity with us. You're just wonderful. I'm pleased to introduce Anthony Porter, author of several books, including Jump at the Sun, the story of Zora Neale Hurston. As he reflected on this project, Anthony commented that art will make you confront your demons. It reveals something about you. This project was a hurdle for many of the students, but it revealed a couple of writers in the bunch. Janice Lee Porter, his wife, has illustrated several books, including Emma's for Minnesota and Hope. Janice noted that during the workshops, the students learned from watching each other. The books are very revealing and personal. Students saw a side of themselves not seen before. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Anthony Porter and Janice Lee Porter. Thank you.
When I graduated from high school in the early Pleistocene, I declared my desire to be a writer. I was 16. It took me about 27 years to get around to writing, mostly from an inability to think of myself as a writer. And that's where, those kinds of things have to start. I've been a tutor, a newspaper carrier, a shoe salesman, grocery bagger, accounting clerk, truck driver, photographer's assistant, house painter, railroad brakeman, publisher, computer operator, shipping clerk, farmhand, tree trimmer, bicycle mechanic, and the list goes on. About 50 different things. But we all start out as artists. Every 3-year-old is an artist until some bonehead tells him he's not. My wife never stopped being an artist and has done it pretty steadily forever, I think. I envy that focus because that can make all the difference, She was a lot smarter than I was. Amiri Baraka said, "To name something is to wait for it in the place you think it will pass." I'm going to say that again. To name something is to wait for it in the place you think it will pass. A lot of people suffer from being named, from being pigeonholed, categorized somehow. Too young, too slow, way too clumsy, too dumb, a troublemaker. Most of us pay much more attention to what other people think of us than we should. We give others power that we should reserve for ourselves. I know some of the students at Options and all over the place at my son's school are reluctant to reveal themselves. I knew that early on in this session that they didn't want anybody to know. I know, and I also know that fear of exposure sometimes looks like nonchalance, surliness, sometimes just bad manners. But art is powerful, and these books speak at last. Art and love should never be taken lightly. But if you open yourself up to art, art will love you back. And if you open yourself up to life, to other people, they will love you back. Name yourself. One of the principles of Kwanzaa, which I commend to you, is kujichagulia, self-determination. And it reads, it's going to be a teenage principle or something. It reads, to define ourselves, name ourselves, create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves, instead of being defined, named, created for, and spoken for by others. Define yourself.
I wanted to show the parents and friends where we began and tell you about a wonderful place some of you may know called the Minnesota Center for Book Arts. It's in downtown Minneapolis, and their devotion is handmade books. And it was after attending a couple of family days where you go in with whomever for an hour and learn how to make a very quick 10-minute, 15-minute little book that I got inspired to do handmade books. And I have been a painter now since, well, I guess my whole life, as my husband said, and an illustrator for the last dozen years or so. But there was something about the handmade book that has brought it all together for me. So our humble beginnings started here. This is a book that I showed the students and teachers early on. It was a very simple project. You can do it at home, and I'd like to tell you about it because we had the time of our lives doing it. I really appreciate the students that are here tonight. Thanks, guys. I'm glad to see you. I really appreciate that you made your books, and And I really appreciate those students who are not with us who finished their books, because follow through is everything. And you've got something real to keep with you now. I know that you all took it your own direction. The books are very different from one another, and that too is remarkable. Please don't shortchange that. As my husband was saying, to express yourself and to put it down in this way is a bold act. The other thing I want you to know is that every time I go to make a piece of art, I'm scared. I can't explain that. I have a backlog of experience, technical skills, genetic talent, but I'm still scared. And I was reflecting on that the other day. I was about to begin a painting. I was scared to death. Part of it was because I knew this painting will be in a show. It will be seen. I will be judged by it. And every time you put your heart out there, there's a possibility that you're going to be judged by it. But I can only emphasize the truth and the power of what my husband was saying. Make yourself. Be your own judge. Continually create who you are. Take what you hear from others with several grains of salt. Use what's helpful. Get rid of the rest. And I hope that you try this again. Make a few more. When you have children, or if you now have children, teach them how to do it. It's a wonderful thing. So thank you again. I appreciate the experience. We've got a lot of good hindsight about our experiment at North Options, and if you wouldn't mind students grabbing me after this and telling me what you thought, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, imagine if it was 100 years from now, someone at the Minnesota Historical Society may be looking up and wondering what youth people in the year 2000 were writing and thinking about. And I hope this kind of material eventually rests in the archives of the Minnesota Historical Society, because I think it can capture a slice of what people were concerned about and the way they express themselves through this program and many others. Certainly what you write, as you write your own words, in what's vital and sacred and special to you and life-changing for you is so important. No one can ever take those words away from you, because they're yours and they're part of your life. Now, you can be an artist, as was mentioned tonight. You can do it by singing a song, using your voice, or painting, or words, or other passions that you have. And the kind of thing we're doing today is about 120 years ago, Alfred Tennyson wrote a poem about a boy putting a boat into the stream and you watching it float downstream. And his last 4 lines were, away down the stream, 1,000,000 miles or more, other children will bring my boat ashore. And that's what we're doing tonight. You heard from some speakers that were bringing their experiences and refloating the boats that they had in their conversation with you.
I've been able to watch this whole process as the students put this together, all of their individual projects, and it has just been an incredible experience. They've worked very, very hard, and it is really neat to see what is on their faces when they see the completed project. So we're very, very proud of them and feel like this has been well worth the effort, and they should be very, very proud, and we're very proud of them.
When the project began, I had no idea how it was going to go. It was something very different than we had done before. And when the students were approached about writing books, there wasn't a one of them who, felt that obviously they'd be able to do the project. So I think one of the most rewarding things about this project is that it was something that required attention week after week after week after week, and a number of students hung in there and finished it.
First of all, I want to say is, at first I just thought it was really impossible. The kids were really frightened, I think, of the project. They were real resistive of doing the project. And I just wondered how it would end up, if we would ever be able to get a product from them. And I have to say now that I'm really pleased that we persevered with the project, and I'm really pleased with the books that the kids have done here. I feel like in certain students it really was awakening within themselves that they could succeed at this kind of thing. Some of them really have some genuine abilities to write and to draw, and I think this project really gave them a sense that they could succeed at this, and it was awakening for them.
And we've been very pleased to have the opportunity to participate in this grant, which developed over a discussion that we had concerning the library grant, and we were able to come up with this idea of teaming with an artist and a writer and exposing the students to a new way of writing through creating their own book, something that they had not experienced, and nor had they experienced a lot of writing, and it turned out to be an experience for them. At times it was very difficult, but I think it ended up being very rewarding for them, and they also chose to complete the books and to have a book that they have made of their own. The students had a wide range of what they decided to do, from creating a book for their own child to writing about their boyfriend or about school.
Mine's The Story of Us. It's about me and my boyfriend, Raphael, and how we met at Options North and all the things we did together.
They're all my favorites. I think really it would be hard to choose. This one is kind of unique in that the young lady who put it together was unwilling to let it out of her sight. It represents a relationship with her boyfriend, and we weren't even able to have it left at school yesterday so it could be picked up with the rest of them and brought over here to the library. She had to bring it herself tonight. So it talks about her relationship with her very special man, and she's very, very proud of it, justifiably so.
I just really enjoyed watching this student work on his. I enjoy the student. He's a kind of kid that you really have to coax to get him to do what you want him to do, but I just kind of enjoy working with him. And I was just really impressed with his drawings. This drawing, he took the painting program on the Macintosh computer, and he drew this police car, and I thought it turned out really nice. And then he that was successful, and then he went ahead and did some more drawings. He did this one on the computer, and this one, and this, and then the last thing he wrote about was the Vikings, and he did that colorful thing on the computer.
Mine's Pakun San, which is my Korean name. And it says Saran Haeseo, which means I love Korea, basically.
This student here loves to write. He spends a lot of time writing in a notebook. He writes music. So his book, and he's very good at drawing too. He did choose to do his cover on the computer. I helped him with that. And Pakun San is his Korean name. He's a Korean background, and he chose the Pakun San for a title because that's his Korean name. And you see his drawings here. He likes to do the just black and white drawings, and he wrote the things he likes to do, and he did the simple illustrations.
This was a book that really meant a lot to me because it was done by one of my homeroom students who has had a stormy school experience thus far. And, just to quote a bit of what he says, "I have changed. I went from being a bad kid to a pretty good kid. The thing is, I have changed in a way that I never even thought that I would change. I have never had the desire to get up in the morning, but now that I've changed schools, I can stand getting up for school. The reason I think I can stand getting up for school is because I am in a different school and no one at all knows what my past is like. My new school can judge me by who I really am instead of looking at my school file and judge me from that." So to sum it all up, I am going to graduate on time with my class 2001. Once I graduate, I will prove to everyone who thought I would not graduate that I have changed and I have worked hard to earn my diploma. So this was just an opportunity for the student to make, a statement about his goals in a very effective way.
This girl here, hers is basically about her reactions to the school. She's a senior, and writing and drawing is not easy for her, so she chose to do hers by computer also. So she's the big event for her now is that she's going to graduate June 2nd in our program, and she's very excited about that. So she wrote about that, and the first page is about some of her first reactions when she first came into our school. And this page is about how she feels successful in her relationships with other students, how she became popular in the school and made friends. And this is about her favorite teacher in our school. She has one of the teachers that she feels especially close to.
Actually, the writing portion of it, I wrote my journal for a journal assignment a few months ago, and we ended up having to do this assignment, and I ended up picking that and kind of changing a little bit of things, but that's about it. I could show you that. I'll just show you. That's my son right there. I tried harder because he was born. Probably gonna change this and make it better though, down the road, and then give it to him. I'll make it a lot longer and a little redo it. So I had to hustle on this, because it was a school assignment, But then I got into it, so I want to make another one, a better one, and give it to him.
At the same time this project was going on, we've been doing some other writing with the students because of the profile of learning, and also the Minnesota Basic Skills writing test. There's much more of an emphasis now on learning to be a good writer. And at the same time this project was going on, we were working on doing some other writing. And there definitely was a correlation between the two. The students who were practicing writing on the books, I think, found it a little easier to write on the other projects too. And it's like every writing assignment that I've given the students goes a little bit better because of the skills that they have practiced on the previous assignments.
The hope is that we will be able to continue this type of interaction with writers and authors, and maybe even develop a number of options that we have besides using the two that we used in this grant. So we are looking for opportunities with younger children up again through high school. And so we hope that this opportunity will continue and that there will be other grants available that will allow us to continue this process.
It was fun watching the students tonight because they were proud when they realized that the director of the library system was speaking to them, that 2 Minnesota authors had given very careful consideration to some remarks, that there were people from their schools, their parents were there, and there were members of the general community who'd read about it in the newspaper. And you could watch the kids light up because somebody was listening to them. Somebody was saying, you did a really good job in this project.
I think any program that encourages young people to express themselves in positive ways, and programs that have very good adult role models for these students, I think that's the most positive thing that a program like this is a benefit for both the adults, probably remembering what it was like to have some rough spots in their lives, and encourage these young people to really do their best and express themselves in ways that in this society anymore it's kind of hard. Sometimes you have to channel those expressions in positive ways.
Hennepin County Library has been looking at different ways to develop partnerships and collaborations with the 16 school districts in our service area, and District 287, which spans the entire suburban community, is our 17th district. And we've been talking for a couple of years with teachers on how we might work with them on projects like Great Transitions, We've worked with them on some computer literacy projects. And one of the other things that we're very interested in is to make sure that students in District 287 know where their local Hennepin County libraries are, know where the Ridgedale Library is, know where Southdale is, because we think for students who are transitioning out of a program like North Options into college or a technical center, technical college, can think of the public library as a lifelong learning resource.
It has been very profitable to team with the library. The other piece that we did through the initiation of this grant is we had the opportunity to take each of our students to the library and have them have a tour and expose them to all the benefits of the library. We received many books from the library that the students could look at and could preview to help them with their writing experience, and we were able to get the books from the author and the illustrator so that the students could actually see the works that they had created and had published.
Options North is a program for special education students in the northwest suburbs, 16 years of age and older. It is a half-day vocational program, so we serve the students for half of a day in the school, working on their academic skills or their independent living skills. And then the other half of their day is in the community, either working or attending classes at HTC, Hennepin Technical College. It's a program where we try to work very closely with the students and build on their strengths and help them feel some success both at school and on the job. We have 30 students in our program, and we try to very much focus on what the students' successes will be. Students can graduate from our program, and typically we have a pretty large graduating class.
So I was very, very happy with the project and hope that we will again have opportunity. For many students, writing is not something that they enjoy doing on a daily basis or even think about doing. And so to have this experience and get them to understand that they are creative and can write was a wonderful opportunity.
About 120 years ago, Alfred Tennyson wrote a poem about a boy putting a boat into the stream and you watching it float downstream. And his last 4 lines were, away down the stream, 1,000,000 miles or more, other children will bring my boat ashore. And that's what we're doing tonight. You heard from the speakers that we're bringing their experiences and refloating the boats that they had in their conversation with you.